We continue now at the top of Daf Tesam and Aleph Meseches Eruvin. This is Eruvin Daf 9a. The Gemara is now asking from a brisa on Rava's opinion. Rava holds that a korah must be on top of the walls at the entrance of the mavui. Now the brisa says meshucha o teluya. Let's say the beam is meshucha or teluya. Rashi says meshucha, pulled. Mashma rechoka himin aksalim. It's pulled out, meaning it's distant from the walls. O teluya shein rashem munachim al gabe aksalim. The mashmos of the brisa is, let's say the beam, the heads of the beam are not resting on top of the walls. El teluya ba'av. It's just hanging in the air. It's too short. For example, let's say there's a pole in the middle of the entrance of the mavi. You put on top of it the korah in this fashion. That's this picture. So teluya means it is not all. It's not reaching all the way from one wall to the other. It's on a pole. And meshucha would mean it's in front of the walls. It's not actually on the walls, but it's in front of the walls. And what does it say? It says pachos migimel ein tzarich lavi korah cheres. If it's less than 3 tvachim away from the walls, in both cases, you don't need a new beam. Gimel tzarich lavi korah cheres. If it's more than 3 tvachim away, so you can't say lavud, then already you need a new korah. Rav Shimon ben Gamliel says pachos midalid in tzarich lavi korah cheres. If it's less than 4 tvachim, you don't need a new beam. Dalid, if it's 4 tvachim tzarich lavi korah cheres, then you need a new beam. Rav Shimon ben Gamliel's opinion is that pachos midalid is considered lavud, not pachos migimel. So they're only arguing about what's considered lavud. But clearly the beam does not have to be on top of the walls. It seems to be, it could be meshucha. It can be pulled out right in front, and it's still okay as long as it's within 3 tvachim of the walls. Gemara says, "My lav meshucha mibachutz." Does it not mean that meshucha from the outside? It's on the outside of the walls. Or teluya mibifnim, and teluya means it's on the inside. It's just not reaching the edges of the korah, are not reaching the walls of the mavui. So this would be a proof against Rava. Meshucha seems to be fine. Gemara says, "Lo, no, idi v'idi mibifnim." It could be both cases. The beam is on the inside, within the walls. Meshucha meruach achas. The word meshucha simply means that one side of the beam does not reach the wall, the other side does. Uteluya mishtei ruchas, and teluya means both sides do not reach, like the picture. So that would be teluya. Meshucha would be, let's say this part reached all the way, but this other part did not go all the way. That would be a case of teluya. So that's what the Gemara says. Maybe it really means that. It has nothing to do with Rava's case. Again, meshucha is just meruach achas. Teluya is mishtei ruchas. Why is that a chiddush? Because what might you have said, meruach achas amrinan lavud mishtei ruchos lo amrinan lavud, that on one side you could say lavud. You could do one lavud for the beam, but to say lavud on both sides already, that would be a problem. You might think that. Kamash Malon comes to teach us, no, it doesn't matter. Even if you have to do lavud on both sides, it's still going to be okay. Rav Ashi has a different answer. Meshucha v'hi teluya. When it says meshucha o teluya, it actually means meshucha and teluya. V'hechi dami. What's the case? Kegon shenoat shtei yisedos akumos al shnei koslei mavoi. That you have 2 bent poles or pegs that are on top of the walls of the mavoi. She'ein begovan gimel. They're not 3 tvachim high. Ve'ein ba'akmo misan gimel, and they're also not 3 bent. They're not 3 away. Ma'u detema. What might you have said? O lavud amrinan o chavat amrinan. And either you apply the rule of lavud or chavud. Chavud means you lower it. Lavud v'chavud lo amrinan. Maybe you would think you can't do both lavud and chavud. Kamash malon, you can do that. Here Rashi shows the case. Case is basically you have the korah and it's on top of these poles which are diagonal above the mavui. So now you have to lower it. That's chavud. And you also have to do lavud because they're not really reaching. Even if you lower it, they wouldn't reach. And the chiddush is you might think that you're not allowed to do both chavud and lavud together. And that's why Rav Ashi says that's the chiddush of this so you can do that. And again, it has nothing to do with Rava's case where the korah is in front. Over here, the korah is directly on top. Again, it's just pulled in a little, doesn't reach the walls, and it's above, but it's not in front of the mavui. It is right adjacent to the walls of the mavui. That's how Rav Ashi answers this question on behalf of Rava. Gemara now continues. Tani Rav Zakkai Kamid Rav Yochanan. Rav Zakkai taught in front of Rav Yochanan, Bein Lechayayim, the area between the lechis, or really, as we said before, not necessarily 2 lechis. It means to say the area corresponding to the lechi, Betachas HaKorah, and the area underneath the beam, Nidon Kekarmelis. Those are considered like a karmelis. You're not allowed to carry in that area. Now, the idea that between the lechis, or corresponding to the lechi, is a problem, that goes against one of the opinions we said earlier on the previous summit. So Amar Le, Rav Yochanan responded to Rav Zakkai, Pok Tani Levra, go teach this outside. Presumably Rav Zakkai was being too strict. He was saying both by the lechi and the case of the korah, it's like a karmelis you can't carry. And Rav Yochanan was saying you have to be more lenient. Now, how far did Rav Yochanan go? So Amar Abaye said, Mistabra Milsa de Rav Yochanan Tachas HaKorah. Rav Yochanan was saying to be lenient underneath underneath the beam, underneath the korah. In that case, we would say that it's not a problem. We don't treat it like a carmelis you can carry in that area. But when it comes to the area corresponding to the lechi, that actually would be a problem. Rava says bein l'chayayim nami mutter. Rava says no, between the lechis also it is permissible. So Amar Rava says how can I prove to you that even in the area corresponding to the lechi it's permitted to carry? Because when Rav Dimi came, he said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, and again Rava is talking about Rabbi Yochanan's opinion over here. So when Rav Dimi came, he said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, makom she'ein bo daled adaled. If you have an area that's not 4x4 tvachim, mutter levnei rishos harab v'levnei rishos hayachid l'kasef olav. It's considered to be like a makom p'tur, and people carrying things in rishos harab can put things on that makom. People carrying things in rishos hayachid can put things on that makom. Uvilvad shelo yachlifu. As long as they don't use that as a go-between. In other words, I want to carry from rishos harab to rishos hayachid, and I'll just go through this makom p'tur. That already is a problem. But otherwise, you can put stuff there. So it seems that, again, an area that's less than dal is not a problem. So, too, the area corresponding to the lechi should not be a problem. But Abaye says, Hasam begavoa gimel over there, at least the makom was 3 tfachim high. It was a chashav makom. It was its own makom p'tur, but over here, it would still be a problem. Amar Abaye says, Mina, where can I prove it to you? The Amar Rav Chama bar Gurya Amar Rav, because Rav Chama bar Gurya said in the name of Rav, Toch HaPesach tzarech lechi acher la'atiro. Within the doorway, you need another lechi. The doorway itself is not going to be a good lechi. Rashi over here explains, Toch HaPesach kegon mavoi sheyesh petzimin ruchavin lepischo. Let's say you have a mavoi that at the entrance you have large kind of walls, large boards that are acting as a doorway, as an entrance, mikan on both sides. V'hein hein l'chayayim shelo. Those are really the lechis. Tzarech lahamid lechi acher mi bachutz. You need to have another lechi im yirtze l'shtamesh ben apsimin. If you want to use the area between the doorway, in that area you're going to need another lechi. So apparently, the even though the psimin themselves are serving as a lechi, you cannot use that area in between. You need another lechi for that area. So that seems to be a proof that bein l'chayayim, that corresponding to the area of the lechi, is a problem. Now maybe what you're going to answer is that area is an area 4x4 tvachim. Rashi says, maybe you'll say that the width of those psimin into the mavoi is already 4 tvachim, and that's its own rishos v'karmelasi. That's already a karmelis from midrabanan asura. So maybe you'll say that's a little bit different. That's not the normal case of an area corresponding to the lechi, because it's a larger area, and therefore it's obvious that it would be a karmelis, but that's not true. Rav Chanin bar Rava said, Amar Rav in the name of Rav, that in the area within the doorway, even if it's not 4x4 tvachim, you're going to need another lechi. So again, it seems to be a proof that the area corresponding to the lechi is a problem. The Ravan, what does Rava say back? Hasam de pasuach lekarmelis. In that case, the reason why we're strict is because it was a mavoi that opens up not into a rishos harabim, but into a karmelis. So the Gemara says, what kind of answer is that? Avol rishos harabim mai shari. But by rishos harabim, what are you going to say? It's permitted in that case that it's actually more severe when the mavoi opens into a karmelis. Yatziva ba'ara, the citizen gets to be on the earth. V'giora b'shmei shemaya, but the stranger is in the heavens. Meaning you have it all backwards. You're putting the stranger, the person who's not the citizens, is on a higher level. In this case, in a situation of a karmelis, you're going to be stricter than a rishos harabim. And the Gemara answers in yes. Matzah minas mino v'neir. Because what's the whole issue over here? The whole issue over here is the area between the lechis, or the area corresponding to the lechi, is that considered a karmelis? Well, if it's next to a karmelis, then it finds the karmelis and attaches itself to the karmelis. It's as though the karmelis expands. We're actually more strict on that area, because since it's next to a karmelis, we just say, oh, that's a karmelis. This will also be a karmelis. But if it's next to a rishos harabim, obviously this area is not going to be rishos harabim, so it's not a karmelis either. Amar le Ravuna bereider Rav Yoshua l'Rava. Ravuna, the son of Rav Yoshua, said to Rava, "V'at lo tizbra devein l'chayayin aser." Do you really not hold that the area corresponding to the lechi is aser? V'amar Rabbi bar Barchana, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, but Rabbi bar Barchana said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, "Mavoi sheritzbo b'lechayayin." Let's say you have a mavoi where you have a bunch of lechis right one next to the other, pachos midalit, and they're less than 4 tfachim away from each other. So again, that was a machlokas whether that's lavid or not, because according to Rav Shimon ben Gamliel, less than 4 we say lavid. According to the Rabbanan, it has to be less than 3. So it's not lavid. So he said, Rabbi Yochanan said, Banu l'machlokas Rav Shimon ben Gamliel v'Rabbanan. That's going to be the machlokas Rav Shimon ben Gamliel v'Rabbanan. The case is exactly this case. You have a bunch of lechis, one right next to the other, and it's a situation where, according to Rav Shimon ben Gamliel, it would be lavid, so it would be like one long huge lechi, and according to the Rabbanan, there's no lavud, so you really just have separate lechis. You got this is a lechi, and this is its own lechi. So that's going to be a machlokas between Rav Shimon ben Gamliel and the Rabbanan. He explains. Rav Shimon ben Gamliel, Damar Amrin on lavud, according to Rav Shimon ben Gamliel, who says that we say lavud, mishtamish ad chudo hapnimi shel lechi hapnimi. You can only carry until the inner edge of the inner lechi. You can carry up till here, and that's it. You can't carry any further. The idea seems to be, according to Shimon ben Gamliel, this is one huge lechi. You're only allowed to use the area within. You're not allowed to use the area corresponding to the lechi. Pretty clear proof. You're not allowed to use the area corresponding to the lechi. And l'Rabbanan da'amri lo amrin lavud, according to the Rabbanan who say we don't say lavud, mishtamish ad chudo hapnimi shel chitzon. You can go all the way until the inner edge of this lechi right over here, because that's its own independent lechi, and these areas here are all within. So again, it seems clear that you're not allowed to use the area corresponding to the lechi. So that's according to the Rabbanan. In that case, aval bein lechayayin dekol yal maser. But it doesn't matter which opinion. According to all opinions, corresponding to the area of the lechi certainly seems to be aser. So the Gemara gives the same answer. Rava says, Hasam nami de pasuach lekarmelis. Over there also, we're talking about a mavoi that opens up into a karmelis, and the Gemara says the same question. Aval rishas rabim mai shari by rishas rabim. What are you going to say? It's permitted. Yatziva ba'arav v'gior b'shmei shmai. Again, the citizens on the earth, and the stranger gets to be in the heavens. The Gemara says, in yes matzah min esmino v'neir, because again, the similar species finds the other one, and it awakens itself. Because this area in front of the mavoi is a karmelis, this area corresponds to the lechi, or this area, according to Rav Shimon ben Gamliel, corresponding to the lechi, is also going to be a karmelis. It awakens because it's next to a karmelis, and we'll continue this discussion in the next video on Daf Tes Amud Beis.